you ever wondered if you could build a fish room with 20 plus tanks without going broke and without spending a bunch of money? In this video, I'm going to share with you money-making tips on how I did just that. Whether you're trying to build the tank of your dreams, add a few more tanks to your collection, or even go full-blown fish room, you can do it too. If you're new to the Fish Cave, welcome. If you enjoyed today's video and end up learning something, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. I'm going to start right off the bat with the single best tip I can give you to save the most amount of money in the aquarium hobby, and that's not to spend a lot of money on brand new items. And the most expensive brand new items are going to be brand new tanks, brand new lights, brand new filters, the major portions of the equipment. So my recommendation to you is exactly what I did: buy used fish tanks. Out of the 20 plus fish tanks that I own, I've only bought 2 or 3 brand new, and those were a few of these 10 gallons in the rack system at the $1 per gallon sale. Every fish tank, 20 gallons or larger, I bought and used. Now my recommendation to you is a 10 gallon tank or a 20 gallon tank, $1 per gallon sale, go ahead and buy the tank itself new. Other than that, look for deals on your aquarium. I have other videos out on how to find the best deals, Craigslist, OfferUp, etc. So check out the channel for those videos. It can be scary. You want to make sure you don't get a lemon of a tank that leaks or is terrible. But like I said, check out the other videos I have and you'll learn how to get a decent deal on a tank that's going to last you more than a few years. You'll end up buying some items brand new eventually, but try to find a used package deal first, and then you can just buy exactly what you need and nothing more. Another thing that I've always tried to keep in mind, even when I had 2 tanks, and especially now that I have 20 plus, is that the small things add up. So stuff like your media for your filter adds up. So if you're looking at purchasing a filter, consider a sponge filter, or consider DIY media as opposed to buying cartridges. It could be a small purchase, but they add up. Another thing that adds up if you don't automate it is the light bill. Now, automating your lights, putting on a timer, has so many different benefits, especially if you're trying to combat algae or grow live plants, but it can also save you a few bucks. Because I know that when I've run a tank without a timer, I've left the lights on for days at a time sometimes. So if you go ahead and spend a few bucks on a timer to make sure you automate your lights, it'll save you some money in the long run. A lot of people aren't going to want to hear this next one, but if you're looking to save money, you need to do research. And I'm not necessarily talking about research in terms of where to find the best deals. You need to do that as well. But I'm talking about research in terms of the compatibility and what's going to do best for you. Because nothing wastes more money than buying a bunch of livestock and then having it die. And then buying a bunch of livestock and having it die. So you need to do your research. You need to figure out what's going to do well in your plant tank for tons of different variables. Is your water hard or soft? What kind of temperature do you want to keep it at? Are your species going to be aggressive, non-aggressive? Is your tank size going to be adequate enough? All these factors are going to lead to what you can keep. And sure, you can go and you can risk and gamble on certain things, but guess what? If you're looking to save money, don't be gambling on different setups. Don't be spending a bunch of money on a plant that's hard to keep. If you're fresh into the aquarium hobby and you're looking to save money, don't go blow a bunch of money on things that are more difficult. If you've got tons of extra income, then go for it. But in this video, we're talking about how to save money and not spend it. So my advice to you is figure out what's going to work best for you. If you're going to buy some plants, buy one of a few different types, figure out which one works, and then focus on that one. Same thing with species of fish. That's why I keep what I keep. I keep neocaridina shrimp for a reason, because my water's hard and I know I have better success with that. I could easily have dove right into caridina species that are a lot of times more prettier, more expensive. If you're looking to make money, you could potentially make more money selling them, but guess what? If you buy a bunch and kill them off, you're just throwing money away. So I went with neocaridina species, and eventually I hope to upgrade to caridina species, and I think you guys should approach it similarly. Also, when you're doing your research, keep in mind any special requirements that the fish may need, such as a special dietary need or potentially CO2 or lighting needs for plants. Like I said, guys, set yourself up for success and save money. So now we've done some research, we figured out what we kind of want to get. We got our tank, it's a cheap tank. We know we want to get our species. The species, maybe they're cheap species, maybe they're a little more expensive species, but we know we're going to have a good chance of being successful with them. Now we got to figure out where we're going to source these fish and plants. And the number one place, in my opinion, is locally. Now, that could mean a local hobbyist or a local fish store. But either way, usually working with someone locally is going to be your best bet. Fish and shrimp and plants from a local hobbyist are usually the most healthy. They're going to transition well to your water because typically it's the same. So if you can find a local hobbyist out there that has species of plants and fish that you want, they usually are selling at a good price. They're trying to be competitive. My advice is go with them. The next best option, in my opinion, is a local fish store. If If you can form a relationship with a local fish store, they usually have a good assortment of items anyway, but if you can form a relationship and explain to them what you're trying to do, the tank you're trying to set up, a lot of times they'll put in a special order for you. They're much more approachable than, say, like a PetSmart, and typically they'll have a healthier fish, or they'll at least go through a quarantine period, work with you, give you more of that one-on-one care. Even if they're sourcing the fish from the exact same spot as the big box store, which, let's be honest, some of them are, a lot of them are, the care and one-on-one and hopefully the warm and fuzzy feeling you're getting from that local fish store, that's why you're going there. That's why you're spending your money at that place. There's some other good options out there. Another one I definitely want to make note of is AquaSwap on Reddit. If you haven't heard about it, I have a video. You can check it out here. Definitely, it makes sense. There's a lot of people on there, local hobbyists and not so local. It's worldwide, but it's really focused in the US for my US viewers out there. And like I said, it's people like me that have a fish room or just a few tanks, and maybe my local market is saturated, so I'm willing to ship. Not everyone on there is willing to ship, but AquaSwap on Reddit is a great place to check out if you're looking to source some cheap things. On the flip side, it's also a great place to sell some things. And once you got your tank or tanks and you're established and you're running your fish room or your few tanks and you're still trying to keep those costs down long term, my advice to you is breed something. And where can you sell it? Potentially on AquaSwap, potentially on Craigslist, etc., etc. But look into something that you can not only keep, but breed. Now, typically, you're not going to become rich. It's not going to turn into a full-time job or even a part-time job. But it's going to provide you with a few extra bucks to pay for your fish. Maybe negate the heating bill for your the electricity bill for your temperature and lighting, etc. So consider when you're sourcing species. Consider a cherry shrimp or a guppy, something that we know can be bred and sold fairly easily. No matter where you are in your fish keeping journey, there's always ways to save a buck, and I'm looking for them. If you guys have any other tips, make sure to leave them in the comments down below. If you want to check out other fish cave videos, you can do so right here. I'm going to leave a comment. I'm going to leave a comment down below with a video about how to breed cherry shrimp easily. I'll pin that comment down below. Appreciate you guys watching. As always, stay positive and stay passionate.